Hello, how are you guys all doing? My name is Janet Carr. I'm part of a company called Link3D, and we are super excited that we can digitally sponsor um, ASME's Additive Manufacturing Industry Summit with our presenting sponsor, G Additive. So really excited to bring to you this experience where you could network and meet other folks within the industry. And on top of that, meet Additive Manufacturing Industry Summit speakers from across the industry who can share their expertise with you directly over this virtual networking experience. So really excited to show you how this works so you're all ready and prepared for the upcoming days. So when you join, there will be a button here that says save me a spot, and you'll be able to log in with your email. So I'm just going to log in with with my email, let's say, and then you'll be able to reserve the time. On the day of, it will have a button and it will change and it will say join now. So when you join, what will happen is it will bring you to this profile. It will get you to set up everything with your test check. So don't worry about it. It will run through if you're all tech ready to be enabled on the platform. As a quick tip, the system does work best if you use the Chrome browser. Okay. And so we highly recommend the updated version of the Chrome browser. And what's great is from the Chrome browser, you can click on this little lock and you can make sure that your camera is allowed, microphone is allowed, and what have you. If for some reason you have some challenges with enabling your Chrome browser, we have some little best practices here. You can turn off your VPN. That might be an issue. As well, if you're using Windows, you might want to go into your preference settings to make sure that your camera and mic settings are allowing the Chrome browser and or the Remo website to access it. Thank you to all the cybersecurity regulations or setups these days. There's a couple of clicks you might have to go through to get it all ready. But if you're having trouble, you can click on this need help button here on the left-hand side, and they have tons of resources on how to set yourself up. But I like to use this more as the message tab. You can actually write a message to their chat team and you'll be able to get connected with someone in 2 to 3 minutes and they can show you the ropes and direct you into how to solve your tech challenges if you have any. So now that we have all the tech challenges out of the way, you're all ready and set. So when you join, you're probably wondering what's happening here. There are so many interesting images. So over here you see on this column, there are table for 2, table for 4, and table for 6. And in essence, you can click around the different tables and join the conversations by turning on your camera and mic. If you have specific camera settings, you could access it. If you want to get virtual backgrounds, there are certain apps that enable it. So you can look at their knowledge base to figure out which one works for you. And then for audio as well, if you want to connect with specific devices, just click up here and you'll be able to access it. But to get networking, it's always best to get your profile set up. So on the top right corner, you will most likely see your initials or the first letter of your name on the top. What it will do is it will prompt you to edit your profile. So you can add your picture. We personally, we recommend you to use your picture from LinkedIn because that's the picture that most people recognize you from, as well as adding your full name. When you add your full name, we highly recommend you to also include your company name and potentially position in case making it easier for folks to reach out to you with intent as well. You can add your headline. I love how, I don't know if you know Cynthia Barnes from the Barnes, Cynthia Rogers from the Barnes Group. She always talks about, hey, if people want to reach you, why don't you put your contact information? So if you do want to be reached, feel free to add your phone number or email here, and that will be the easiest way for people to get in touch. Otherwise, keep that private, or you can add another headline to talk about topics you want to talk about so people could speak to you with more intent. You can add your company name, job title. If you have a meeting scheduling, feel free to add that. If you are an organization that's trying to get more people to learn about your solution, you might just want to put your company's book meeting link, like I have. In your LinkedIn profile, please do add your link so people can easily connect with you afterwards. This is a very popular ask. And then for Facebook URL, if you want to add, let's say, your Facebook URL for your company, that might be more appropriate than your personal one. And on top of that, if you do have a virtual business card, by 8 or Samson, or you want to create one so it's easy for you to share your contact information, this is an area where you could add that link here as well so people could share their contact information with you directly. So now that you've set everything up, you'll see that these will be easily clickable. So on the day of, you can click someone's name and you'll be able to see their profile and reach out to them. Do note there are character limits, so just be mindful of that. You'll also note where they're located as well, so you could ask them where they're from and learn more about their background as well. So as you can see over here, we have various floors 1 and more. So on the first floor, you can actually see that there are different table names. There's the ASME table, there's a Link3D table where you can meet me and my colleagues if you want to. You can meet the GE additive team as well. We have Josh that will be speaking. And then there's also other speakers of the Additive Industry Summit speakers who will be here as well. So what will be exciting is if you want to meet Jesse Boyer from Pratt & Whitney, you simply double click on his table and you can start communicating with him. Let's say for some reason the table is full. You can wait on the side and connect, or you could actually message, let's say Jesse directly and ask to meet. So let's say, for example, I wanted to connect with Tara from America Makes. I can open up the message board and find her and say, hey, Tara, want to meet at table 16, floor 1. And she will receive a notification and a green button will show up to indicate to her that you have reached out. And if there's outstanding messages, this will be in red and then the messages will rise to the top. So that's a possibility. You'll also note that there's networking events that happen, but when it's time for presentations, everyone on the networking floor will automatically be put into the presentation mode. So you won't be able to network anymore. And you'll be listening to the presentation. So here you can see there's an agenda. You can see who's speaking, Josh Mook from GE Additive as an example. And it'll let you know when is the networking event going to restart. So you could take note of that as well. So here, if let's say you're at a table and the countdown for presentation takes place, you can actually click on the table chat feature and then you could message everyone and say, hey, it was great chatting with you. Feel free to contact me later. This is where you would do it. You can also send additional attachment files if there's some pictures you want to share. You note at the table, not only can you share your camera and mic, but if you wanted to share your screen and you wanted to talk about, something specific to a problem you're trying to solve, or you want to showcase someone some awesome design that you've created or some use cases, this is a good way to demonstrate that. So you can share your screen. As you know, the icon's quite tiny up here. So there's something here called the tile view, where it will blow up the imagery. And then if you want to blow up the actual image itself, you can click on that and it will extend. Note that you won't be able to see anyone else while this happens. But let's say you're done speaking with someone, or you want to keep your eye on the floor to note when a table might be open with a spot. You can click on the back to floor mode and then keep your eye on the spot. So let's say when Mark Barfoot from EWI is available, you can double click into his room as well. In case you're curious about all the resources that GE Additive has, you can click on these buttons and learn more about their playbooks, their virtual CEC, and customer stories. When the presentation does happen, there will be a 30-second countdown. But what's also very interesting here is there's a lot of great functionality for you to connect with the audience. So for example, here, there's a general chat where you can communicate with everyone and share your sentiments. So let's say if you're really excited about GE's new binder jetting machine, or have comments about whatever GE Additive speakers are going to talk about, or Debbie as well, you can share it here. If you want people to learn about what you're up to related to the topic, feel free to share it here as well. Do note that if you are too salesy on the general chat, you might get a note from the organizers to stop doing that. So just letting you know in advance. On top of that, you'll have here all the participants. So chat folks are everyone that's either an organizer of the event and people that have joined the event. They might not be there anymore. But participants is where you'll see folks that are live at the event. So you see there's only one person here that's live, that's me, and there's one person that's a host. So on the day of, you will be able to see all the folks that are joining the discussion. You can click on message and connect with them. And then on top of that, there's also Q&A. So if you had a question for Debbie asking when is the next event, you can decide if you want to ask that anonymously or not anonymously. So let's say I asked it anonymously. You can also upvote the questions. So the questions with the most votes will rise to the top. So when Debbie Holton organizes the Q&A with Josh Mook, she will prioritize the questions based off of which questions are in most demand. So if you have friends that are also in the event and you really want your question to be answered, you can nudge them to help upvote. So hopefully your question gets answered. So when the event presentation is over, we will turn this presentation off and everyone will go back to the floor. And since we're on the floor, you can now double click into the different speaker tables or the different floors to start a conversation. So here, if I want to talk to the legendary Todd Graham, I can simply double click into his table and meet with him. Do note that if you are a speaker and you can't get into your table for some reason, feel free to reach out to myself, Janet Carr, by finding me in the search bar and letting me know, and I will remove someone from the table. And do note that, let's say if you are at a table, but you haven't turned on your camera and mic, we will be considering that as being an inactive networker. So therefore, we might remove you from the table. So make sure that if you are going to be engaged at a table, to ensure that your mic and camera are turned on so that we can enable higher level and quality engagement across everyone that's participating. Thank you so much, everyone, for learning about the event, signing up to the event, and helping promote cross collaboration and cross knowledge sharing across our additive manufacturing industry. We look forward to supporting you. In case you want to learn more about us, feel free to find us on link3d.co. If you have questions about the actual event, feel free to reach out to ASME. And if you run into any technical challenges, feel free to reach out to Janet Carr, and we'll be happy to help support you in any way possible. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day. See you March 2nd.